How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to run through the upcoming game between the Scarlets and Leinster. But before we crack on, please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow, and I just want to be providing you guys with the best content possible. Now, let's break down how Leinster is potentially going to absolutely destroy the Scarlets. Honestly, I cannot see much coming from the Scarlets in relation to this. They are going to be they're going to struggle. Even if Leinster put out their second tier squad like they did in the last game, they are going to struggle. The last 5 meetings between Leinster and the Scarlets has all ended in Leinster's favour. The only team to currently beat Leinster is the Bulls, and I cannot see that changing anytime soon. In terms of squad depth, quality, they are pretty much better than the Scarlets in practically every single right. And that's taking into consideration a lot of the second tier squad, which ultimately isn't really a second tier squad when you think about it. The quality that they do have in the likes of, your O'Briens, your Osborne, Frawley, Mangan, it's like they are still top quality players that can make it into pretty much any other URC team. It's just because of the sheer quality and the sheer talent that they do have. It not only does it create this battleground, this field for growth that everybody, when you're playing with absolute monsters, you are bound to grow, you're bound to get better, you're bound to get stronger, faster. When you're dealing with these absolute monsters week in and week out, you cannot help but improve. Now, taking consideration the last game, Leinster played a much weakened side, and that's saying something considering how many top tier players that Leinster do have. They put out a relatively weakened side, and they still ended up coming through with a big win. Now, honestly, I cannot see them doing this again. I do believe that they ended up resting a lot of the big players, like your Gibson Parks, your Archie Sneyman, Barrett, and so on. I can give you a full list of players that would never end in terms of top tier talent. And I think they did it just to rest him, because there is going to be the big game coming up between the Saints and Leinster, and they are going to want to have these players as rested as possible, but they also do not want to keep them out for too long and, cause a bit of ring rust or pitch rust, where they are then getting out of the groove of playing rugby. They're going to want to try and keep them relatively consistent, but also giving them a slight break here and there, essentially just to keep the legs going, to keep things warm, but not to lose that rhythm, right? Because especially up against the Northampton Saints, we've seen what the back row is capable of doing, and a lot of them are the English back row. So when you have the likes of your Finn Smith, you have the likes of Alex Mitchell, Tommy Freeman, Ollie Slyton, which I don't think is going to be back anytime soon, but you know, the you, in his place you'd put Seabrook, but there's so much talent that's in that back row that they are scary, and they are able to put tries through anybody in the world. It's just unfortunate the Saints tend to be a little bit leaky. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to match up, but Leinster are going to want to be going in with the best and strongest squad physically possible for that Champions Cup to potentially set themselves up with a final of, I'd imagine, I'd hope, for a Leinster to lose final. But Bordeaux are also an immense squad, especially when you have players like Louis Bielbiere on your side. That is unfair. So anything's possible. The last meeting between Bordeaux and Toulouse ended in Bordeaux's favour. So there's every chance that could potentially happen again, especially without Antoine Dupont. But Leinster are going to be coming through really, really strong. And I do feel that Leinster are going to go with, if not a full strength squad, they are going to go through with, a pretty, a pretty stacked squad. And this game, unfortunately for the Scarlets, this is going to be an absolute run out. I cannot see Scarlets winning in any way, shape, or form. Don't get me wrong, the Scarlets, they do have some serious talent. They got a lot of good players, but are they talent that is going to be able to stop Leinster, even Leinster's second squad? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't feel that they have that in them. And I feel that the defensive line gets broken far too easily by simple passes, like a simple crossfield kick, and this is something that Leinster are going to make use of. They're going to make use of the space. And if Jameson Gibson Park does end up playing, I feel sorry for them because then, you might as well just not have a defensive line because he's going to be breaking through you like there's bloody no tomorrow. But ultimately, in terms of this game, I do feel that this is going to be an absolute run out by Leinster. I'm predicting a 35 to 40 point gap in the win, and I am expecting a big score line. So I'm going to be a bit risky, and I'm going to give Leinster to score 50 or more points, and the Scarlets to score less than 20. And that's me being generous. I would say 10 to 12 points they might get on the board, maybe through a couple penalties. I cannot see them breaking Leinster's defensive line actively. Not even Glasgow Warriors were able to do that recently. And yeah, they the bloody Glasgow Warriors. You look at those bloody players; they are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. So if they weren't able to do it, I cannot see the Scarlets doing much better. So yeah, I'm going for Leinster to score 50 or more points and the Scarlets to score less than 20. But that's just my prediction. Let me know what you guys think in relation to the game. What's your score prediction? And who are you expecting to play? Because I don't know. Anything's possible with this side because Leinster have such a stacked squad, that they can pretty much play anybody and still put up a really, really good, a really good side and able to, mix it with the best in the world. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Please like and subscribe as always. It really does help my channel grow. And I just want to be providing you guys with the best content. And I'll catch you later. Bye.